Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So good to see you all. Today's going to be a little bit of a different start than what I usually would for my videos. I unfortunately have been diagnosed with vertigo, which isn't anything too serious. Basically, it just reverts you to like a 50, 60, or 70-year-old person who has balance issues. I can't seem to focus very well. The room always feels like it's spinning whenever my eyes are closed. Whenever I'm doing any daily tasks like bending over to pick something up, shifting my head left or right, up or down, just pretty much any orientation that isn't in a completely standstill mode. The room feels like it's spinning. So I am medicated. I'm dealing with that for the last. It's been like 3, 4. It's been like 5 days now. Tuesday, and it's now currently Saturday as I'm recording this. So I'm not feeling too hot. I'm doing my best, but I just want you guys to know that this is a video while I had vertigo and still have during the editing phase, and I'm trying to push through it. So I hope you guys bear with me as I kind of go through whatever I'm going to go through here. I'm going to try my best to explain things in the best orientation I can, but I'm currently medicated and I'm not feeling well, unfortunately. So that's the gist of it. With that being said, let's get into the video. So even though they offered up my C6 Shenhe there at the very beginning, I decided to turn it down because with the starting cast of characters they gave me, it actually made more sense to have Zhang Ling on my team for the early game and even for late game, depending on if we can get some vigor resets from those chest cards that they have. I don't remember the exact name. And then I chose Gan Yu because I wanted to have another DPS, someone who was reliable, but I knew that wouldn't carry me through the end game. Again, C6 Shenhe came in and I was like, man, based off the current orientation of my characters, I really think that Kanich might be better here because I'm more so into that Dendro kind of, not mindset, but just character orientation they've been giving me. So I was like, you know what? It sucks because of course I want to choose her, but I'm going to have to choose Kanich here to be smart about it. And again, the vigor resets coming in clutch. I was able to get my Colette to have her points back, and I needed that because I didn't have enough characters to finish this. If it was just a straight shot, I had like 17 total characters, which I think is like the bare minimum, including the supporting cast, in order to get through this. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get through this unless I get some bigger resets. So here we chose this team. It was my Ganyu, it looks like my Zhangling, Chi-Chi, and also Mika. And this is just a team that I was just throwing out there because you can see kind of on the side there, it'll show you like trial if it's a character that you don't have. For this team, luckily it's all my own specific characters because Chi-Chi is C6, so if I make a mistake, you know, she can heal, whatever. But these characters aren't going to carry me super far, but I did need the extra damage of Zhangling, so I threw around there for Ganyu for the melts and called it a day. For this next one here, my Dea isn't anything, so I decided to pick Tainari, and I knew that with this next iteration here, the freaking Dendro chicken, I was going to need some Dendro here to kind of get him into that aggravated state, and then eventually once he exhausts himself, he kind of lays down and just makes himself susceptible to all the damage that I'm throwing out there. So again, just kind of speeding through the first few floors because I know that like nobody really cares about the 1, 2, 3, probably all the way up to like floor 5. I would say people don't really care as much. But either way, that team did its job and I was on to the next one. Now here it was no brainer for me. I needed to choose Alhaitham because he's very well invested in my account, but he is built on the Deepwood set, so putting him with Nahida wouldn't be best for me specifically because of the fact that he is supposed to be, based off of my build, the only Dendro character on the team to get the maximum damage out of him. Here I was having a tough one because I have a C6 Kaching and I think it's like a C4 Lisa there, but based off again the orientation leaning more towards Dendro, which was like so weird for me, I really felt like it would be best if I went for Elisa there, even though C6 Kaching can come in clutch. I felt like I really needed her to make Alhaitham shine. Now here, gaining the chance to reroll 2 times I felt like was super valuable, because if for some reason the cards didn't fall into my fortune, I could just use one of the 4, 5, 6 that I have built up, and maybe potentially get a companion select, or even one of those treasure chest cards, and those allow me to regain my vigor for certain characters, which obviously is invaluable. So of course here, I decided to get these stupid characters for this whole defense section, because this is like the easiest and most trivial like entire challenge out of the entire Imaginarium Theater. All you gotta do is attack each one of these robots 2 or 3 times, and then they aggro to you, and as long as you do that over and over, you can waste the entire time and not even have to kill them. Like look, I'm down to my last 30 seconds, I finally just killed them, and the health is at 93%. And look at the team I have, it's Ganyu, Sino, Tainari, and Chi-Chi. I mean, that's not even like a good synergy team, but these are the characters that I knew that I wasn't going to be using in the higher floors. And right here, I'm just celebrating. I don't even care. Like, I'm at 93% health. My star is at 35%. I've got 10 seconds left. Easy peasy, all you gotta do is aggro them. And this guy right here with the shield, he doesn't even know what's going on. So I'm telling you guys, if you haven't done it already, this is the easiest one. Always select these robots. These automatons have no brains. Never choose the humans because they move in and out and they kind of like gauge distance and try to kind of stay away from you. These guys always come to you and they aggro to you with no hesitation at all. So of course, when the options are Jing Cho or Dea, I'm going to choose Jing Cho. He's C6 and well built. Dea is like C0 and not built very well at all. This one, Companion Select, this was like amazing. The game was just slapping me in the face with, here, choose whoever you want. C6 Ayaka, C3 Raiden, C6 Kaching, C6 Kujosara, or do you want your C0 but well-built Farina? Even though it was a tough decision, I decided to go with Farina because I feel like the healing and the universal buffing plus the Hydro application, so I can freeze if it's cryo, and I can do other reactions if it's anything else. I mean, she just was too invaluable at that point. And listen, I was glad I did because Farina is a good choice all around. Now this stupid one, man, getting the star in this floor is difficult because these guys you got to aggro together, and my Al Haitham was really only popping off for super damage when I actually had my Lisa pop her all, and I didn't realize it until after the fact that I tried this like 10 different times that I did not have a very well invested Lisa in terms of energy recharge. She was very invested in elemental mastery, so she was doing good damage. The problem was I couldn't get her all ever, so to save you guys some time, I only showed you the points when I actually had Lisa's all up, and you can see the damage was way more consistent and so much better when I had them within her lantern going crazy with Al Haitham's all, because Al Haitham in general is so slept on in my opinion. I think he's such a good character. He's cool, he's strong, he's overall just so much fun. So yeah, Al Haitham slept on, came through clutch for me there, but Lisa, next time I'm going to make sure that she has some energy recharge under her belt before I put her in. But anyways, this is when the hard decision came in, because I am a C6 R5 Ayaka main, and she's been my favorite character since 2.0. Until Skirt comes out, she'll still remain that. And I had the choice between her or C6 Kaching, which unfortunately, as much as I love Ayaka and I wanted to use her, I needed to use Kaching here because I had Nahida on standby and I was planning a team for Dendro and Electro, doing some kind of Hyper Bloom stuff with her, getting some, Hydro reactions mixed in with there, obviously. So even though it pained me and we really wanted to choose Ayaka there, we went with the smart, non-biased decision and we decided to choose C6 Kaching. Here we had a free mystery cache and they gave us more vigor back, so I was like, listen, this is exactly what I needed, thank you so much. Of course, I go to choose a companion select, and what do you know, like, who is it? It's Ganyu. For me, the decision here was obvious. I was going to be using Ganyu as a burst support, doing some damage and applying some cryo, because Eula, even though she's C1 and has an R3 unforged on my account, she's not going to be good considering she's on field to get her the most damage out of her, and the 1 to 200 that she would hit with a full team just wouldn't make up for all the reaction damage that I would be able to have if I had my full team. Another companion select, Rosario was the easy choice, and then whoop, here we go again, C6 Ayaka. Man, I wanted to pick her, but again I was leaning too much into Dendro at this point. I needed to go with my C3 Raiden for the Dendro reactions, and then obviously the fact that she's C3, she offered too much versatility on my account, specifically for this run. Now here I wanted to do a reset, a refresh rather, of the events because nothing was looking good, and I was able to get another companion event, and again Eula C1, just not worth it considering I'm leaning into Dendro and the cryo side of things. Escoffier, especially since she's C1, she doesn't have her signature, which would be an extra 32% attack off for the entire team if I did, but she does have C1 and it gives 60% cryo damage to the entire team, so I mean, as long as they're all Hydro or cryo, so I mean, it was a no-brainer. And then I did that 3 times, didn't get any luck, so I called it a day and went into the combat domain. Now this was like, I needed to be very careful here with Rosaria's ult, because this boss has a certain mechanic that he applies a Hydro shield to himself, which is only weak, or weakest I should say, to Dendro and to cryo. And because of the fact that I only have a couple characters who apply those 2 elements, I needed to save her ult for this specific moment here, so it could apply basically DOT, like damage over time cryo application, to keep him frozen and also bring that shield down, because this boss has a mechanic that he takes away your ults and he also deals damage to you if you're within that ring. So it was very kind of like nerve-wracking. But of course, saving the ult worked wonders for us. We're able to pop our ults one after another, get him frozen, and then do the Al-Haytham ultimate to go crazy with the Dendro reaction. And you can see at this point he stood no chance. That star was looking as good as ours. And even though he applied that shield once again, it was able to get swollen down and he was taking damage at the same time. So with no problem at all, we cleared that and we were able to get the star as well. Again, C1 Eula, they're trying so hard to push it down my throat. But I really wanted to choose Kujo Sara here because she's C6, so she would buff my Kaching team. And now my Kaching and my Nahida were looking like they were starting to form a team together, and I was liking where we were going with this. So I decided to invest a little bit of my flowers into that specific reaction, just trying to give her the ultimate buff that I could. So of course, when I saw a random companion selection, I had to select it. I don't have Ayaka, I don't have Shenhe, I don't have Escoffier at this point. I want these cryo units because they're the most invested on my account. And then I get Aloy and Eula, and I was like, I might actually choose Eula at this point. Finally, C1 Eula comes through, but I realized that if I was going to be running Kaching, Kujo Sara, and Nahida, it would actually be better to use, even though I don't want to say it, Aloy here as a burst support and a useful 4th slot, so I didn't waste my Xiangling, didn't waste my Rosaria, or didn't waste any of the other DPSs for the higher 8th, 9th, and 10th floor. So even though I didn't want to do it, again I had to say no to C1 Eula, and I chose Aloy. I know, sue me, I didn't want to do it, trust me, but it had to be done, I'm sorry. So my plan here was to use the Kaching team that I've been talking about this entire time for this 7th floor. And then at the end of it, I would have a Kanich team for the 8th floor. And 9 and 10 would be a walk in the park because I was going to have my Ayaka, my Shenhe, and everyone else ready to go. And it was looking pretty good so far. So this team right here, again, you can see in the bottom right there, it says Trial next to Nahida. This is not my Nahida, but it is my Kujo Sara, my Aloy, and my Kaching. You're going to notice that Aloy just takes a backseat here. I'm not going to switch to her even once during the entire showcase because I was here just trying to clear out this as much as possible. The goal was to use their Trial Nahida, link these two together, use her all after I brought these two down, which I had forgot that you can actually shoot them down. It was actually my girl who was watching. It was like, oh, you know, you can shoot them down. I was like, oh, crap, you're right. So after I did some whoopsie daisy tag stuff there, it brought me back to my childhood, that's for sure. Brought them back down, linked them, used Kujo Sara to buff the, the Electro, and then C6 Kaching came through and was going crazy with the damage. Hey, listen, she still slept on, especially with the Dendro reaction. I don't like Dendro by itself, but Electro and Dendro together, it ain't so bad, man. It can do a lot of damage. So of course, knowing Kaching, she's always got to finish in style. We finish with the ult there, and we move on to floor number 8. Super happy, and another star under our belt. And of course, with the character selection here, there are only 2 options that they gave us were Eula and Shenhe, C6 Shenhe, C1 Eula. I think it's pretty obvious who we're going to select there. I went for the companion selection. I was like, okay, listen, it's a 66% chance that my Ayaka's in here. Come on, please, please give her to me. Lo and behold, there she was. It's not even a contest. We're not choosing Dea. We're going with our C6 Ayaka, since especially we just got that C6 Shenhe. And now it was looking like all she wrote. If I could clear this with my Kanich team, which it's not even my Kanich, I want to make that clear. This is a support Kanich that I actually picked up one of my friends. So thank you very much for giving me your Kanich. Even though he's C0, he's very well built and he was doing a lot of good damage. The big thing for me here was trying to make sure that I rotated in a left and right fashion, especially since I was using Xiangling. That way, if you've ever used Kanich, you know that if you just go in one orientation with Xiangling, basically her little spear just stays like in place because you're moving too fast for it to catch up with you. But if you move in a left and right orientation, it stays kind of in front of you and then goes behind you. It has time to do both, so you're actually hitting the target with the pyro and getting that extra damage off. You can see right here I'm not doing a good job at that. But when he went invisible, my plan was to switch to Raiden and then obviously destroy all these stupid units that you have to destroy to make him come back, and that way they would put him in a weakened state, so that way I could buff up with my Farina all. I could go to my Xiangling, get the pyro application, and then I would just switch to my the Kanich, and then go crazy with his damage. And he's popping off for like 100k. He's C0. I think he has his weapon, but I don't even remember, to be honest. Knowing that I only had a few seconds left and I wasn't going to have time for another rotation, I let my C3 Raiden finish it off there, and we went crazy with the overload reaction with Xiangling, and then obviously Raiden. The companion select here, or not even the selection screen after completing the floor, Eula and Dea. I'm like, oh my god, they really are trying to give me Eula. I don't want this C1 Eula, so I chose Dea. Even though I wanted Eula kind of there, I was like, it makes more sense for the team orientation I have right now. So again, just looking at the teams here, I was like, okay, it's pretty much all she wrote. Like I was able to clear all, what, 8 floors before this with characters that, you know, you wouldn't expect me to be able to use because my account does not have investment into the Dendro reaction. And at this point, it was like, okay, Ayaka, Shenhe, you got 2 full vigor. I've also got a Scuffier in the team. Go ahead and do your business. And the best part about this entire thing is these next 2 floors, since my Ayaka, Shenhe, and a Scuffier team is going to be coming in, I'm not even going to put any cuts into it. You're going to see the raw, unedited footage for these last 2. And you're just gonna laugh. Like, it's actually hilarious how quickly I just annihilate these enemies. This is a pure cryo team for a Scuffier specifically, obviously, so I can get that buff. And I mean, who's gonna survive Ayaka's ult? Like, it's still one of the biggest freight train truck damage things in the entire game. It's ridiculous. And at C4, when you get the 2 extra 20 or 40% damage little tycoons next to it, it's just not even fair. Like, honestly, we line them up. We're gonna put ourselves in the perfect position, and we're gonna use our ult here and just bang. Done. Like, not even a question. Deleted off the game's memory like they were never even there. It's so hilarious how quickly she annihilates. So the funny thing is, the very last character that I had the opportunity to select, can you take a guess? Just take a random guess who it is. Exactly. I was like, I have to. It's the only character that I can choose now. They're forcing me to choose Eula. So I didn't even invest into like upgrading any elemental reactions since it was going to be a purely cryo and hydro team. I was like, okay, everything is Dendro related. Let's just go straight into it and let's make quick work of this. So of course I chose Ayaka, Shenhe. I'm going to do a Scuffier and I'm also going to do Farina. The problem was I was confused on how I was going to orient this team because I always have Ayaka and Shenhe side by side. But for this specific team, I wanted to have Farina first because I always go 2, 3, 4 in order of who I'm going to use. And then I switched to 1 for my DPS. So you see I went 2, here's 3, fully buffed, here's 4, fully buffed, and then we go to Ayaka and we just watch the damage pour. This is the moment you waited for. What the freak? I remember when this exact moment happened, my girl who was watching was literally laughing, and so was I, and she's like, that is ridiculous. I was like, I know, this is actually insane. And you can see at this point, like, it's trivial. I'm hitting 50Ks even when I'm like unbuffed from like Shenhe falling off with her all and stuff. Like, it was just ridiculous. Finished that in like 28 seconds. I mean, I didn't even need to do a second rotation. I just did some normal attacks to finish him off. So long story short, I was very worried considering I came into this Imaginarium Theater with only 17 available characters. I needed to use a support character, which was Kaniche, someone that I don't really use on my account ever. So I was worried maybe he's not going to be good enough, or maybe I don't have the right teams for him. I don't think that I'm going to have enough characters to clear this. I was thinking I was going to run out of characters around like floor 8, and floor 9 and 10 I wasn't going to have anyone available. So like I was very worried and concerned about the entire thing, but it ended up working like really well in our favor. We were able to fully clear every single floor with all stars, and now that they actually have star rewards, they don't just have clear rewards, they also have star rewards, and the 9 stars gives you a sanctifying elixir, which you know that 1, 2, 3, or 4 of them actually allows you to choose which artifact set you want to have for the main stat and 2 substats, and it guarantees 2 substat rolls into the ones that you selected now, like guaranteed at a bare minimum. They're so valuable. I was like, okay, if you're gonna actually give me Imaginarium Theater rewards, I'm actually going to try and put an effort, because if you look at my previous clears, I'm anywhere from 6 to 8 stars the last like 4 or 5 times, because I stopped caring about this game when Wuthering Waves came out. That became my main game. But if you're gonna give me rewards, that's when I actually try. And you can see the cast list right there coming through clutch, especially with Kamisato Ayaka doing her massive damage. Like, man, she's still going to be number 2. She's number 1 right now until Skirt comes, but man, she was goated and is goated. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. That's going to do it for me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Godman out.